Hello and welcome to 3V TV with me, Tony Brown of TonyLBrown.com, creator of the 3V strategy for business development and growth. Do you need a business plan to start a business? Do you need a loan to start a business? Do you need a degree to start a business? What do you need to start a business? Why should I start a business? My business idea has been taken by somebody else. It's not worth it. These are the questions we get asked on a regular basis by people who have a desire to start or they're considering starting their own business. And on today's episode of 3V TV, I've got a very special guest, and we're going to be fielding those questions. We're going to be responding to some of these questions that we get asked on a regular basis. So you're going to want to stick around for this. We're going 30 minutes. It's going to be fast and furious, and we're going to answer and respond to the biggest questions we get asked about business development. With me today, I'm really excited because this is my first guest and things could go wrong. I've never had a guest on before, and I'm looking at all these different, there's new windows open. So, just bear with us. I'm excited to have Leon Streete with us today. Leon is a internet marketing professional. He's also a speaker, a trainer, and I have got some paper here just to make sure I get it right. He's also the co-host of the Small Business Elevation podcast, which is a new podcast out there. I definitely encourage you to go and check it out. I'm sure he'll tell us more about it. He runs Young Cow Limited, which is a internet design and development, website development business. But they not only build beautiful websites, they also teach you and train you how to build a successful online business. So not only get your website up there, but also how to generate and drive traffic to it, and basically to generate revenue through it. So he's also a good friend of mine. I've known Leon from basketball days, from when we were 15 years old. He was a better basketballer than I was, but I'll put my hand up and say I was probably a better DJ than he was. But we can have that debate later. Leon was also the brains behind the first ever, from my perspective anyway, and you can correct me if this is wrong, he was the brains behind the first ever full internet radio station in the West Midlands that broadcasts not only audio but also streamed live video. Am I safe to say in the UK? I'm not sure, but definitely in the West Midlands.
Not the UK. It was definitely West Midlands.
Okay, so welcome, Leon. It's like I said, it's a pleasure to have you on the show. I've tried to do the best I can with the introduction, but say hi to 3V TV and just sort of bring us up to speed with, where you are and what's going down.
Okay, first of all, thank you, Tony, for having me here today. Everybody listening, excuse my voice. I'm recovering from a bit of man flu here. We've got a bit of a sore throat going on, so I've got a pint of water with me, so I'm prepared. But what an intro. Yes, we've known each other from our younger days in our teens, and yeah, I'm sure I was a better basketball player, No, we've known each other for many years, and it's great for me to be part of the show to see what Tony's doing with the 3VS. He's taking something that a lot of people talk about, want to do, and he's putting it into action. And so I'm really excited to be here. Thanks for mentioning our new podcast, Small Business Elevation, which I co-host with Robert Smith from Birmingham. I'm from Wolverhampton myself in the UK, not too far away from where Tony is. We're all in the Midlands, baby. We're at the heart of the country in the UK.
It's definitely the heart.
Yeah.
Definitely keeps the country going.
That's it.
Yeah. So basically today, you've got a story to tell. You've been in business for a lot longer than myself. You're definitely someone I've looked up to and been inspired by. But we want to focus on these questions that keep cropping up. The audience, the bulk of the audience, they're people who are considering starting a business.
Yeah.
They're people who, they're stuck in jobs that they don't like, or they've just got an aspiration, a desire to do more, and to, really get out there and get their business going.
Yeah.
However, the barriers, there's these questions that keep coming up. So we want to start to address some of these questions. what I will say is, I've got some questions that I've collated over the weeks, etc., through
Hmm.
social media and through engaging with people.
Yeah.
For you guys watching, if you do want to send us a live question, if you're watching this on the website, if you're on tonylbrown.com/freevtv, at the box, hidden away, it's really small at the bottom. There's a link. If you click that link, it should say chat to us or talk to us, or I'm not sure what it says. I'll tell you what it says. It says, uh, I'm not even sure. I'm not messing with this right now.
So
But
question.
basically, there's a chat box. There you go. Click to chat. If you click that button, you should be able to send us your question live, and we will answer that question live and direct on the show. We're going to go straight through to 8:30. We're going to try and field as many questions as we can,
Mhm.
and give you as much value to go away with. We want you to go away from this show feeling more inspired, more encouraged, and with more focus in terms of getting started, getting off the ground. So I'm going to shoot the first question, Leon, and we'll bounce it back and forth. So the question is, a lot of businesses fail within the first 5 years.
Mhm.
I'll speak to people and they're always like, oh, what about all these stories about businesses failing and the recession and blah, 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 blah. A lot of businesses fail within the first 5 years. Isn't it safer for me to just get a job? How would you respond to that?
It's a good question, and there are a lot of businesses that fail. And is it safer to get a job? Yeah. But are you living the dream? Are you living, the things that you want in life? You only get one life. And if you believe in reincarnation, well, fine, you got to make the most out of this life. Don't put it to waste. And so for me, I don't even think whether or not a business failing in 5 years is a problem, because the business fails, but the person doesn't. Because I've met
Mm.
many people who the business has failed. They've either gone bankrupt, they've gone liquidated, and you know what? They've risen. So it's almost like the phoenix. And I'm not saying that that is the path for everybody, but you'll find that, yeah, you'll find a lot of people who are successful now have a history where a business has failed, maybe one or two. And there's a lot of top gurus out there who say, 8 out of 10 business owners who are successful today have had a business that's failed. So for me, I wouldn't say that it's about being safe, because once you take that step in your mind, once you're prepared to go for those goals, go for that dream, you've got to commit to it, and it shouldn't be half-hearted. And I know this personally because back in it was 2008 when I was working for a really good establishment, the University of Wolverhampton. I was a development manager there. I was managing about 10 different people. I was
Mhm.
earning a really good salary, £40,000 a year. And back then it was like, wow, that was good money. And if I'm honest, the work was easy for what I had to do, you know. And I just had this burning desire. It was building, it was building. And at this point, I'd already had a little kind of sideline where I was kind of building websites and helping people with internet marketing. But in 2008, um, much to my wife's disappointment, um, her sense of security was ready to be thrown out the window. It was a real major problem. And so when I say commit to it 100%, I don't just mean you. You've got to think about the people around you, but be sure that it is what you want to move toward. And it shouldn't be something that you take lightly. Some people say, oh, well, I just kind of bumbled into it. If you can plan it, and if you can really, focus on where you're going with your life and what you want to do, go for it. Because for me, if you want a job, you'll go and get a job. It's not a matter of should you go back and get the job, because it will be there and you'll make that choice. But if you've got that passion, that burning desire, you'll go out there, you'll get a sale, you'll sell whatever it is that you're selling, whether it's a product or service. Just go for it. There's more to it, but I hope that kind of gets us going.
Yeah, I definitely agree in terms of, that the business may fail, but that doesn't make the person a
Yes,
failure. And
correct.
like you said, you can always, learn from your mistakes, get up and just implement, your new strategy, your new idea. There may be some new products and services, and I think also it's about what defines failure.
Yeah.
You know, someone would say, "Oh, your business has failed," but maybe it was a product that
Yeah.
failed. Sorry, maybe it was a specific service I was offering that didn't do as well as I hoped it would.
Hmm.
But that doesn't mean the business is a failure. You
Correct.
know, I think in 2012 when I made my transition, the amount of ideas I had in terms of I'm going to bring this to the table, I'm going to launch this, I'm going to develop this product, and out of all those ideas, only one or two really generated any revenue.
Yeah.
So does that make my business a failure? You know, it's still turning over, it's still keeping me.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, you know, I think sometimes there's too much emphasis on failure rates and thinking that, you know, just because you've got this idea and the idea doesn't work, well, that's it, then I've failed. Let me just
Yeah.
go and get a job.
Correct.
So, yeah, I think the other side of it, sort of a follow-up question is what what is it that's causing these businesses to fail? When you really look at, um, you know, the process people take when they are starting their business,
Yeah.
what is it that is causing these businesses to fail, and how can we avoid some of those pitfalls?
Yeah.
And I mean, I could say a lot about that in terms of, you know, the advice that, you know, the traditional advice that people give in terms of starting up a business. You
Yeah.
know, go and get a loan, write your business plan, go and get a loan, do all the market research, get a premises, get the sign over the door. Now you're in business.
Mm.
And I'm like, well, that for me, that's a recipe for failure.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I
I
mean,
think
what's your perspective?
I think there's many reasons why things go wrong, and in this day and age, you don't have to get a premises, you don't have to get a sign over the door. You just have to put yourself out there like you're doing, Tony. You have to just establish a brand, because if you can if you can drive your business by your purpose, that's the first thing. And
Yeah.
your purpose, if people aren't really sure what purpose means, or if they don't understand their purpose, the purpose is, why do you get out of your bed, wake up in the morning and do what you do? That's your purpose. Yeah.
Mm,
um, if it's a purpose that is something where you have to help people, or your purpose is your family, your children, then fine, that's your purpose. And the key thing is that once you kind of embark on the journey of understanding what your purpose is, that will drive the burning desire in you to go forward. Now, the reasons why businesses fail is, there's a million and one. I was going to say 101. There's actually a million and one. It could be that you are the greatest salesperson, but you don't know how to do accounts, and so therefore your business
mm,
failed because you weren't able to file accounts correctly. Yeah?
yeah.
And because there's many roles that you could take. Maybe you weren't the greatest salesperson, but you knew how to make widgets or whatever product, or you knew how to
Mm,
deliver a service, but you just didn't know how to get in front of people and actually get them to buy it from you. And I
yeah.
think there are many different things why businesses fail, but what I would say is that you can start a business without having a business plan.
Mm,
Yeah.
yeah.
What I would say is that if you are, it's better to plan. And I would
Mm,
even start with having a business plan that fits on an A4 piece of paper.
mm,
Put down your purpose at the top, what you're about. Are you there to help your customers live a better life? Are you there to save them time, save them money? What is it about you? Are you there to educate them?
yeah.
And once you have that purpose, it could just be a couple of lines at the top of your A4 sheet of paper. Put down some goals, what you hope to achieve this week, what you hope to
Mm,
achieve in a month, in 6 months, in a year, and
yeah.
go to 3 years, and really start to live it and think, actually, where would this business take me, and where do I see myself? Because once you start to think and see where you can go, you'll start to buy into the idea more.
Mm,
I think it's Les Brown who says, "Don't worry about the how. The how will come."
mm,
Because if you are so determined to achieve and do what you want to do and do what you need to do, you speak to the universe, because the people you speak to, your friends, your family, you're living that burning desire about, this is what my purpose is, this is the goals that I have. And tell people, don't share it, don't be small. There's a lot of people who regularly have those famous quotes on Instagram, on
mm,
Pinterest, say, I did it by myself, or, you know, I did it this way and I didn't need anybody else. All of those kind of stupid sayings. And the reality is, look at the most successful people in the world. Do they have teams?
yeah.
Yes. They didn't do it by themselves. We,
Yeah.
the successful people, are interdependent. That means we
Yeah.
understand how to depend on others to help us get to where we need to get to, and also them. So it's a win-win. So that's kind of my answer for that one.
Yeah. You just reminded me. I'm just going to reach over here. The E Myth.
Boom.
In terms of you know, thinking you can do everything by yourself. You know,
Yeah,
the entrepreneurial myth. You know, I'm a solopreneur. I'm
yeah,
doing this by myself. You know, I've got the passion. I've got the idea. I'm the brainchild. However,
yeah.
you know, you will burn yourself out.
Correct.
And you will be. I mean, in terms of you know what this book says, you will basically become so frustrated running the business.
Mm.
And you know, if your passion is like you said, making specific, you know, making cakes or whatever, making
Yeah, yeah,
cookies,
yeah,
and then you got to think about the accounts, you got to think about the marketing, you got to think about, you know, customer service, you got to think about managing the orders, supplies, etc. All these different
yeah.
things, and all you want to do is bake. I just want to bake cakes, you know. So it's like you got to build your business, then build your team. Where, okay, if that's what you want to do that then, but make sure you've got someone to deal with the accounts, make
Yeah,
sure you've got someone to do the marketing. And I
definitely.
think sometimes that is one of the reasons why a lot of businesses do fail, is
Mhm.
because that person thinks it's me, I'm doing this, you know, I'm on a Steve Jobs. Well, like you said, look who was behind Steve Jobs,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know, and you
yeah.
look at those organizations. He might have been the front man, he might have been the face of the company, the brand, but again, you know, Richard Branson, for example, you look at these people, and he's, you know, Richard Branson's not flying any planes, he's
Yeah.
not driving no trains, you know. So
He flies balloons.
he flies balloons, but he doesn't get paid. You know, that's not his job, is it? So yeah, definitely get a team around you.
Yeah, get a
You know,
team. I
work in your
think,
strength zones
yeah,
as well.
I think the reality is that when I say put down your goals for 3 years, 5 years, a lot of people say have an exit plan, and then you get people who say, well, I never want to sell the business.
Yeah,
But exit plan can also mean that your business is in a position where you don't have to be in it for it to be successful and continue to make profit.
yeah,
That is the true statement of having a successful company, is that
yeah,
a profitable organization that works without me.
yeah.
Think about that.
If your business is dependent on you, then you know you wake up in the morning and I
Yeah,
don't know, you got man flu.
exactly.
You're not making no money that day.
Yeah. Or you just got so much drive, you go no matter what.
That's it, yeah. That's it. Well, like you said, you know, it's building a business so it's not solely dependent on you. You want to be able to take yourself out of the business,
Mhm.
you know, and you know, spend a couple of weeks in, you know, wherever in Jamaica with your grandparents or whatever, and your business is still running.
Mhm.
And if that may seem far off, if someone's just thinking about, you know, leaving work or thinking about starting a business, that may seem so far away. But what I would say is that if you build it with
Mhm.
that intention, you're going down the right road. You know,
Yeah,
take yourself out of it as much as possible. So you work on the business, you don't work in the business. And
correct.
again, you know, I'd recommend this book, if you can
Yeah.
see that, to anyone who's considering
The Eve Michael
starting this
Gerber.
journey. That's right, yeah.
Yeah. One
Um,
more thing, just before we close on this question, is I got a
Go on.
quote, and the quote says that make sure that your goals are so big that you're scared of them, because you can only achieve them when you grow into that person. Yeah. And so the whole point is that growing your business is a journey, and you will grow into that person to make sure you achieve that dream. So don't dream small, yeah, because
Yeah,
you'll receive small.
excellent.
All right.
Great quote. Yeah, I've had a question come through from a viewer,
Okay.
um, and the question is, what fundamental advice or thought process would you recommend for the want-to-be entrepreneur to take to decrease chances of giving up or keep motivated in the early stages? So basically, it's about, you know, what can I do to decrease the chances of giving up and to remain motivated? You know, how can you, because it's a grind, it is a grind, you know, how can you stay motivated when you're hitting barriers, when, you know, you're trying to build this thing and it's taking its toll, you're not seeing the results you want to see? What fundamental advice or thought process would you say to somebody like that?
Okay, that's a really great question, actually, because the reality is that when you start out, you're gonna have those days, even when you've been in it years, that sometimes your motivation will drop.
Hmm.
Sometimes you forget what you're in it for. Your purpose is there, but for whatever reason, you're not motivated by it. And I
Yeah,
think the reality is that people forget to take gratitude of what they have. Be grateful for what they've achieved up until now.
mm,
And
mm,
the key thing for me is that you've got to take baby steps. And some people say, oh, I need to achieve 100% increase in my business. But the reality
mm,
is that if you can achieve a 1% increase in all the different facets, the different roles, the different things that you've got going on, sales, marketing, accounts, and you're increasing each one of those, that's what's going to take you forward. So don't get caught up with the big wins, or you hear about somebody being successful and therefore
mm.
you're not as successful. Well, have a guess what? You're not them. Live your life. You know,
That's it.
the goals for me should be there. And sometimes motivation isn't there, but the one thing that can really underpin it all is discipline.
Mm,
Now, if you can harness your power of discipline, and this is a habit you have to develop. Now, the easiest way for me to explain this is look at some of the most successful sports people in the world, the
mm,
world champions, the Serena Williams, the LeBron James, Michael Jordan, all of these people, even as right up to date as Andy Murray today making the final of the Australian Open tennis.
mhm,
It's discipline that got them there.
mm,
These guys have been doing sports since the age of like 8, 9, and they're now like, 20s. Obviously, Michael Jordan retired in his like 30s and whatever. He retired a
mm.
few times and came back, but hey. But what I'm talking about is they stuck with it for something like 20 years. It's not something that you win quickly and you all of a sudden you become great or you become successful, but it's the discipline. And
Mm,
so for me, sometimes the passion is down.
mm,
Sometimes your desire can be down, but it's the discipline. You know, when things aren't going well, but you're still doing the things you need to do, that's
mm,
what will carry you through. And don't get me wrong, there are days you feel down, and sometimes you think I'm lost, but I'm on a journey, and you're trying to find
mm.
yourself. That's all part of your evolution. And
Yeah.
so these things will happen. And at this point, I'm going to let you carry on, but I'm going to reach for my journal because if I can find it, there's a great little bit of notes I've got in there that I'll pass back to your community shortly.
Okay. Okay. And even that, just having a journal, it's something that I've started to keep. It's not something I
Here it is.
purposely says I'm going to keep a journal. There we go. Got one as well.
Mhm.
But even that, it's definitely a useful tool to record your wins.
Mhm.
And I wouldn't say your failures, but your learning. Your reflections. Okay, I've tried this. I put this in place. What did you learn? It might not have turned out or transpired in the way that you hoped it would, but what did you learn from it? So yeah, definitely even that, that's a discipline, journaling. What I would say, I mean, this question came from a viewer, Luke Tucky. So thanks for your
Oh,
question,
hi
Luke. We
Luke. Hello
really
Luke.
appreciate it. Um, what I would say as well is going back to what Leon referred to earlier was about knowing your why you're doing it.
Mhm.
If once you know the why, it's and you've really, harnessed that. This I need to do this because of this. This is the reason why I'm pursuing this. If it's just to make money and you don't make money, it's going to be very difficult to
Mhm.
continue. But
Correct.
if it's, I've got to provide an income for my family, or, I want to spend my, the later parts of my life in a different country. I want to be, location independent, whatever it might be. Everyone's got a different reason why they're doing things.
Yeah.
And if you can really harness that why, and as Leon said, build that discipline and that strategy around it, it's going to be very difficult to knock you off track.
Yeah. You'll
You
become
know,
unstoppable.
that's it. That's it. I know for me, one of my whys was I need to work from home.
Mhm.
I've got 4 young children. We home educate. My wife's at home, and I needed to be here.
Mhm.
So what really drove me was I need to be at home, and
Yeah.
whatever my business looks like for me to be at home, it is irrelevant. I just need to be at home. So I'm building my business around my why. It's not like I've got this idea and I want to build this business, and where it takes me, it takes
Mhm.
me. It's no, this my why is I need to be here. I want to
Okay.
be
I
here.
just want to jump in there, Tony. And I'm
Go on.
looking at my journal here, guys. These are my notes from the 18th of March 2009.
Yeah.
4 steps to learning. This is about you, how you understand things. At first, you are unconscious and competent. That means you're just not aware of things going on.
Mm,
What happens then is you develop your consciousness. So you become conscious incompetent. You know what's going on, but you just don't know how to correct it.
hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The third stage is you become a conscious competent. You are aware and you know how to make change, how to grow.
Yeah.
And then you become unconscious competent. you do things without even having to think about it.
Mm.
And the cycle will repeat because you will evolve. You'll then become step one again, unconscious incompetent, because you'll have raised your game. And when
Yeah.
you raise your
Yeah.
game, you're on that next level where
Mm.
you don't know all the answers, but you're willing to take your discipline, your purpose, and everything and drive you forward again. And so that's
Yeah.
what I wanted to get across.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. That's powerful. That's really powerful. Being unconsciously incompetent
Correct.
is almost like a good place to be.
Yeah, it is.
Because that shows growth. If you're just
Yeah.
if you're just consciously competent in all these areas,
Hmm.
or unconsciously competent, then you've
Yeah.
got some growing to do. You're too
Yeah, that's
comfortable.
it. Yeah,
Like you
exactly.
said, you can be in a job where it's just like, you got it on lock. It's you
Yeah.
walk in, you're not even sort of awake properly, and you're doing your job better than other people there.
That was me
You
in
need,
my job, and that's why I had to leave back in 2008. It was I knew there was more for what I wanted out of life, and I knew life had more for me, and here I am.
yeah, yeah. So I mean, I'm just looking at the time.
Yeah.
we're going to try and stick to time.
Okay.
Tell us a bit more about where you are now. Obviously, you've just
Okay.
launched the podcast,
Hmm.
and tell us about obviously Young Cow. So
All
you
right. Hmm.
build websites, web platforms, and then you
Yeah.
also teach people how to be successful online.
Yeah. Yeah.
Tell us a bit about that.
Okay, so first I'm going to start with Young Cow. Young Cow is my internet marketing agency. So we help people create websites, and once the websites are in place, we help them to market themselves. So we either deliver the service to do things like pay-per-click marketing, search engine optimization, social media marketing, or we help people initially develop a strategy that they can then execute themselves. And so for me, it's about giving people a platform and then allowing them to get customers or to put themselves in front of the customers or at least understand how to. And so Young Cow is my purpose. My
Mhm.
purpose is educating business owners to be successful with internet marketing. You see where I'm coming from now? My business
Mhm.
allows me to do that. So then this year we launched Small Business Elevation podcast. I can now educate people. I just told you what my purpose is to help small business owners be successful. So now the
Yeah,
podcast is now a bigger platform for me to go on and still live by my purpose.
yeah, yeah.
Now I'm going to tell you the strategy behind that also because I'm not going to shy away from that. The strategy is that as I continue to provide value, I'm going to receive. People will start
Mhm.
to hear about me. People will probably inquire about me. And when they do, and they say, I'm going to hold my hand up and I need some help, I'm going to say, I can help you with specific aspects of that, and especially through my business.
Mhm.
Yeah. And so
Mhm.
I'm not saying that everything will go through my business, but what I'm saying is that I have a strategy in place to say, I'm going to give value, but I also expect to receive back at some point. And it's something that I'm not just going to throw out there and just give value and not receive because
Mhm.
people don't do that if you want to be successful. You understand your own worth and that your own value. Yeah, and so
Mhm.
that's what Young Cow is, and Small Business Elevation podcast is an extension of that. And I don't want to go on too much more because I want to make sure we get more questions in.
Yeah, well, we've only got 2 minutes left, so I
Yeah,
mean,
no.
we could. I mean, I'm happy to go if you want to keep
Oh yeah,
going, Leon.
I've got the time. I
I'm
have the
happy to
time.
go.
Yeah,
Um,
let's just run with
so
it.
yeah, okay. So I mean, if you do need to leave at 8:30 and you want to follow up, this will be available on the YouTube channel. If you just type in 3VTV or Tony L Brown in YouTube, you can watch the whole episode. It will also be available on the website 3v tonylbrown.com/3VTV. Also, if you want to check out the Small Business Elevation podcast, it's available in iTunes. Is it on the Stitcher platform?
Yeah, it's on Stitcher, and the
Stitcher,
website is sbelevation.com, guys.
there you go, sbelevation.com. I mean, you've heard the discussion, you've seen the value, you've heard Leon's his purpose, etc. So if any of that has grabbed you, you can get much more. And again, guys, listen, it's free value. It's
Hmm.
free business advice. Who's giving that away nowadays? So make best use of it. Small Business Elevation podcast. Um, Also, just to go back as well, to backtrack,
Yeah, yeah.
as Leon was sharing, if let's break that down. What he said was that he's got a passion and a purpose. Through that passion and purpose, he's built a business and he's offered a service, but he's also educating people. And the strategy that governs that is if he educates people, they're gonna they're going to be drawn to him. He's not selling them things. He's not like, buy my service, buy my service, buy my products, give me your money. He's
Yeah.
like, here's some education. Let me help you. Come over here. Let me help you. How can I serve you more? And this is almost the reverse to the traditional
Yeah.
route that people take when starting a business. And I think this goes back to the original question in terms of business failure rates and why businesses fail.
Yeah.
So if you are considering starting or you are getting started, think about those things. Think about, as Leon said, have that passion, that purpose. What's the strategy that governs that? What's the why? Why are you doing it? And also, how can you provide value
Yeah.
to others?
Can I jump in there, Tony?
So, one second. I'm the host. 1 second. It's 8:30. If you do need to go, thank you very much for joining us. I really appreciate you taking the time to spend your Thursday evening with us. We are here every Thursday, 8 o'clock, 3VTV. If you do want to field your questions, again, we'll try and fix the chat box at the bottom of on the website. You can also use the question and answers panel live in Google Plus. We are trying to make best use of these tools. Google Plus, if you're resistant, get on there. It's a great tool. Make best use of it. It's great for engagement, great for things like this. And if you haven't already done so, if you go over to tonylbrown.com, you can sign up for my free ebook, which is 7 steps to prepare you to leave work and start your own business. So if you go to tonylbrown.com/my free guide and grab yourself that copy. It's 8:31. You know what? We're going to continue. We've got much more to talk about, so we'll go as we led. You was going to jump in, Leon? Go for it.
I nearly lost my train of thought then, and thanks for holding me back as well. I didn't even catch the time.
Go ahead.
Tony, I love the way you're hosting the show. All I was going to say is that do something that you love. Don't get into something that you really find difficult to get into, because that's what most people do in a job anyway. They do it to earn money. They don't do it because, it's directly the thing that they're passionate about. Some people get lucky, but there's a lot of people who just get comfortable and think, actually, I've got bills, I've got responsibilities, I'll just stick with this. Make sure that's not you, because you can do better, you deserve better. And so that was all I was going to jump in there with.
Yeah, and it's true. It's much easier if you're starting a business just to make money. It's actually much easier just to be in a job. If you don't love it, if you're not passionate about it, if it doesn't suit the lifestyle you're trying to create for yourself, you're better off just working for someone else, because you haven't got to think about the accounts, you haven't got to think about the marketing. You get paid when you're off sick, you get holiday pay. It's much easier. Where obviously, those who are in business or those who are self-employed, they know all the other things that you have to consider. It's almost like the money is almost like a byproduct. It's almost secondary.
People in a job are after job security. People who set up their own business, they're after financial freedom, and there's nothing wrong with either. It's just a choice. And so for me, it's just understand what works for you, and what I would say is a job is a great place to learn on other people's money. Yeah, and that's what it should be for. And if it's long term and you want to be in a job, then fine. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm saying it's a good place, but you got to understand what's true to you. And I knew what my calling was.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to throw one more question out there. This is a question, I hear this question so often. Basically, it's, my idea has already been taken, so what should I do? So basically, what they say is that I've got this idea for this business, but someone else is doing it. I've got this idea, but there's someone else doing it better than me, or the industry's flooded or whatever. What would you say to that person?
It's a good question. It can be answered easy and it can be answered in a long response.
Yeah.
So now I run an internet marketing agency, and there are thousands of them out there. Thousands. I come across people, and what I learned was my 60-second pitch and how to evolve that. And your 60-second pitch is normally when you meet somebody new, if you're networking or whatever, and they say, "What do you do?" And so then I started to change mine from, we help people with creating websites and getting more customers online, to we help businesses evolve, we help businesses learn, and we help businesses move forward through education and really going after their goals. And I work a lot with business owners and directors and managers, and together we're able to form strategies that allow them to achieve their financial targets.
Mhm.
People started to become more intrigued. And
Mhm.
so what I found is that it wasn't a matter of that there are hundreds, thousands of other agencies out there. There are always going to be. What I understood, it was just my job to sell it better than anybody else.
Mhm.
It was my job to engage the audience.
Mhm.
And so your job is to understand what makes you you. I know that my driver is to educate business owners. So when people come and work with me, my primary is to help them understand better than they did before they left, before they got there,
Yeah.
sorry. And so,
Yeah.
if I don't land a contract, at least in my heart, I think actually I put them on the right track, or I gave them
Mm.
some good advice, and and for whatever reason, I didn't close the sale. And yeah, I could beat myself up about it, but you know what? I learned from it, and I think actually, yeah, there was some cues, some things that at the time I was unconscious incompetent.
Mm.
But when I reflect and then go back, I can say, actually, yeah, I'm aware of that now and how I can improve. And so,
Mm.
so really, that's what I want to get across as a point there.
Yeah. Yeah. I think also, you know, you might not have secured the contract, you might not have got paid, but you've still fulfilled your purpose, which is
Yeah,
to educate and
yeah,
to help.
hmm
And they will never forget that.
that's right.
They will never, although they haven't put money in your pocket, they're walking away knowing that I learned this off Leon, I learned this off Tony,
Yeah,
and whatever they go to do with that, ultimately, you can look them in the eye, whether it's 4 or 5 years down the line, and just go, yeah,
yeah.
or,
Well, you know what?
how's
And
it going?
I'm going to lead on from that now. And the following is that when that has occurred, and throughout the years of me running my own businesses, I've had people who've come back
Mm.
after they've gone with somebody else. So
Mm.
I just want to give you a kind of insight into that people have come back having spent money and then spent even more money rectifying the problems they've had.
Mm.
And so
Well,
for me, understand who you are, just believe in it. Don't worry about, sales, or don't think, oh, I've got to make my service or product cheaper because I really want to win the business. No, stand your ground and be true to who you are.
mm.
I mean, not long ago, I turned down a contract for £4,000 because they just wanted to
Mm.
discount and discount. And I said, you know what? I'm going to give you so much more value than I'm going to leave here, and you can make your choice. And I thought, I could have dropped my price and come to what they really wanted me to. And I thought, no,
Mm.
because I know that customer would have turned into a headache customer.
Yeah, yeah, it's probably
And
cheaper to drop
let's
them.
be real here, we all get headache customers. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
They end up
it's
costing
true.
you way more.
It's true. It's
So,
true.
so don't worry about the businesses out there. Go and do your thing. And here's another way for me to describe the metaphor. There are superstar footballers out there. Does that stop people becoming semi-professional footballers or even professional footballers? No, they don't give up on their dream. They go for it. You don't have to
Mm.
be the ultimate best Ronaldo or Lionel
Mm.
Messi. You can still earn over 100 grand a week being a really good player.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean? Let's be real about
yeah,
that. They're living
it's
good
true.
lives. And so it's the
It's true.
same in business. How many Alan Sugars are out there earning millions of pounds a year? You just don't see them or hear about them. There are
Mm.
thousands, probably way more. And so for me,
Yeah,
go out there, do your thing, live your passion, and go for it.
yeah, yeah. We've had another question come through. I just wanted to add to that before I move on to the question.
Yeah.
We hear about this. They call it the shrinking pie mentality.
hmm
So, again, you look at any sort of town centre, and you go down the main sort of strip, and you'll see 30, 40, 50 kebab shops all on the same street. And any given night, Thursday, Friday, Saturday nights, they're all in business. The tills are ringing in every single one of them. They're not fighting against each other. Someone didn't walk up and think, oh no, that I was going to open a kebab shop, but there's already one there. They'll open one next door,
Yeah.
and one sort of focus might focus more on pizza and chips and do some
hmm
kebab. One might focus on fried chicken and chips
Yeah.
and do a kebab. One might focus on, we're strictly kebab,
Yeah.
the tills are ringing in every single one of them.
hmm
So just because it may seem saturated, there's a space for everyone
Yeah.
in the marketplace. And again, like you said, if you bring you to it, because you're unique, you bring your unique twist to that, then you're going to stand out.
Yeah,
You're going
definitely.
to stand out. We've got a question. A question from a guy, Jason, a good friend of mine, Jason Edrick. He's great to have him
Welcome, Jason.
on the show. Um, Basically, Jason's question is, what steps would we recommend to help somebody to maintain focus on a daily basis, especially when things aren't going too well? So basically, it probably goes back to what you spoke about in terms of discipline and strategy. But what
Yeah, yeah.
steps would you recommend to help someone to just maintain a daily focus and when things aren't going too well?
Okay, first of all, I'm going to say make sure you check out the last episode from Tony because he went over this, and this is what I'm going to talk about. To maintain discipline is easy for some people, not so easy for other people, and like me, you might be in the middle, where if you've got the right tools, you can apply discipline. I use a weekly planner by a guy called Stephen Covey. He's another published author. He's got great books out there, and go look him up if you haven't heard about him before. But he has this weekly planner, and the weekly planner allows you to plan your week. I'm not just talking about business here, I'm talking about your week, as in what you do at home and what you do at work. I use it every week. My team use it. They have to use it because it allows us to know what tasks we've got to do. And it's a planner that works by you got every day of the week, and it blocks out the hours in the day up until evening. So it starts from about, I don't know, 7 in the morning, I think it is. You get a bit of time to sleep, and then it goes into the evening. And so
Yeah.
with that, you can start to book things in. For instance, I'll put down that I've got to pick up my son on Tuesday and Wednesday after school. Yeah, because that's the days when I pick him up. I'll pick him up on Friday at 3 o'clock because I tend to work from home on a Friday with my daughter. And then everything else I work around that. There's also a little box on there that is called Sharpen the Saw. And so what he talks about, Stephen Covey, is that whilst you've planned all of these activities and you take on these different roles throughout the week, so whether you're father today or mother, whether you're project manager, whether you're the toilet cleaner, whether you're making lunches, yeah, he doesn't want you to lose sight that there are things that you can do to still sharpen your saw. So there's a box for physical. So my physical is that I normally play football twice a week to keep my cardiovascular exercise going. There's mental. So I put down the books that I'm reading that week. There's emotional. So what you're doing emotionally to improve. So it could, be a many number of things. There's financial. So what are you doing to improve your financial awareness, income, whatever it is, and then also relationships. This might be important if you're married or if you want to improve things with your children or even your extended family. And so for me, the way to stay on track is to know what you need to get out of your week and stick to it. And then once you start to understand whether or not you've been realistic about the things you put down in your task list, or if you're starting to spot the things that you're actually missing, even though you're writing them down, you're not doing for whatever reason, you can start working on finding out why, yeah, and then also acting on that. And so for me, that's how it is for me. There's other people who don't need that. There's other people who, they get a bone and run with it. I'm not blessed like that. I have to put it down logically. I've always been a logical thinker, but I have a creative mind.
Yeah.
And so once I establish a system, I know I can work my system. And so that works for me. And that's how I stay on track. I don't know about you, Tony, but the reason why we referred back to last week, because I know you kind of went into that kind of topic.
Yeah. I think it's easy to have a system, but it goes back to what you mentioned earlier, which is the discipline. We're not short of systems. There's apps, there's tools, there's bits of A4 paper that we can use. There's books, there's journals. We're not short of tools.
Yeah.
The issue is discipline.
Correct.
And I went through a phase where I was always chasing the new tool. Right, there's a new app, there's a new bit of software, there's this new calendar that links to your phone, and it links to you this and links to you that. And what I found works for me is just write it down. Just I've got a pile of reusable paper here. It's printed on one side, and every day I'll get up and I'll write down what I'm doing for the day. This is a system that works for me. I've got apps, I've got electronic calendars where I put my appointments in there. But in terms of when I'm in the office and it's like, okay, today I'm doing this, this, and this, I've found that just works for me. And I'll have it on my desk. I know that in the morning I'm doing these tasks, then I'll break for lunch. In the afternoon I'm doing those tasks. I'll have some time out, and then in the evening this is what I'm doing, and that's my system. in the past I've developed, which you might find useful, these little cards, and they're like sort of task job cards.
Okay.
So basically they're linked, that was upside down, they're linked to different projects. So it's basically got the project, the task, the requirements, so what do you need to do the task, the estimated time, how long I plan to spend on it, and then at the end it's got like, is it complete, yes or no, and then what's the follow-up task. And what I usually do is, say on a I don't know, Sunday evening, I'll think, well, what am I looking to do this week? And I'll think about the broader strategy, and then I'll just write down all my tasks on a job card, and then I'll have the job cards on my desk ready to go Monday morning, and then I'll go through them. Okay, yeah, I've got an hour allocated for that job, that's on the calendar. You know, I've got a few minutes allocated for that one, I need to follow up with that task for that person. So there's many systems, but I think that the key thing
is discipline.
It's the discipline, isn't it?
Yeah. When I think of discipline, guys, here's what I'm thinking of. Bruce Lee stood there doing his kung fu kata. That's discipline. Dedication.
Yeah.
It's just training yourself to do the things that you're meant to do and that you want to do. And you know, if you need to establish a kind of process to allow you to do that, it's just all about discipline. Because once you've got the systems like Tony's saying, there's apps, there's this, there's that, there's whatever. If it's just, you know, a sheet of A4 paper and that's your list, then fine, do that. But make sure the discipline is there, because that becomes your kind of way of working to achieve, you know, the success and, you know, elevate yourself.
Yeah, and I think as well, I know we spoke about this before in terms of the strategy, you know, having a strategy, because if you've got that strategy, it's and you're serious about it, and that's your objective for whether it's, you know, 12 months broken into quarters, the quarters broken into months, the months broken into weeks, the weeks broken into days. If you veer off that, you're not going to hit your goal. So then you're not serious about that goal. So I would say, yes, the discipline is definitely a big part of it, but also having a strategy for your business. Where are you going? What are you hoping to achieve this year with your business? You know, and what that also does, it helps to push away the, you know, the fancy thing and a new glossy thing over here and all the other distractions that come in. Those opportunities that may be good opportunities, it may be something that you could get involved in, but if you've got your strategy, I'd have to put that to the side, because I you know, it's going to knock me off track, because like I said, my year is broken into quarters, my quarters is broken into months, and my months is broken into weeks, and my weeks are broken into days, and my days are broken into hours, and my hours are broken into minutes. So you know, take what you need to take from that. But yeah, thank you again for your question, Jason. Hopefully that's been useful, and you know, Leon, I really appreciate you giving us the extra, you know, the extra time. And this just goes back to, again, what we were speaking about, just giving value. You know, we planned to be on here for half an hour, but it seemed like it was going to be valuable. It seemed valuable, so you know, we just continue to give to the audience. Again, you can still field your questions. We've got about 13 minutes left. So again, if you are out there and you want to field your questions, send them in. We'll respond to them. I've got another question.
Yeah, go for it.
And this links into, in terms of you and your internet marketing and you know, online business kind of speciality. A question I always get is Amazon and eBay a viable business model? So, you know, people can just set up an account on Amazon, set up an account on eBay, and basically start a business. Would you see that as a viable business model for someone considering starting up, for someone who's, you know, on that sort of, you know, that journey from employee to potential self-employed business owner?
My short answer is yes, because I have a client who's done exactly what you just said.
Well,
I've got a client. He's into year 3 of trading now, so he's just gone past year 2.
Well,
and I'll tell you about this guy. He works for a friend of mine, so fellow business owner. He worked as a technician in the business, and he started to see how things operated. He came from a previous job as a chef, so he kind of changed industry totally. So he was building PCs, computers, whatnot. So he was very capable if he was given a system. I want to call it a system. Make sure you read that E-Myth book, Systemization. So anyway, so he developed his skills. I got to know this guy, and before we knew it. He'd set up a part-time business selling stuff on eBay, but he'd found a niche. He'd found something that he was really into, something that he
Mm.
loved. He was into photography, not the actual taking of photos, but he was more into a niche area of photography, how to
Mhm.
take photos using drones, quadcopters.
Okay.
So I'm going to feature this guy
Was it
on my
commissioned by
channel.
Barack Obama?
Probably. I'm sure he had some Eastern European customers, you know. I swear blind some dodgy people. This is anyway.
Yeah,
Bring it
before we get shut down.
on, bring it on, man. Anyway, so anyway, it set up this part-time business selling stuff on eBay. It
Mm.
got like over 100 feedbacks from not just selling personal stuff, but his own stuff. He was buying products, selling it on, and it was going quite well. And he set up his business because he'd had enough business coming from eBay for him to warrant going into business on his own. So at the
Mhm.
time, I'd helped him put a website together, e-commerce site. So he was selling online. So now he had two channels.
Mhm.
Um, and I'm just trying to think of the best way to explain. He went from zero to £300,000 turnover in his first year when he went fully into alone.
Wow.
Now, this is a young guy,
Mm.
20, 23-ish, and he just ran with something that he enjoyed. But this is the interesting part. He knows, he's still trading now. He knows
Mhm.
and knew at the time. He said to me, Leon, this product has a shelf life.
Mhm.
And it was only the other day I was reading somewhere about quadcopters and the prices of them dramatically coming down now. And I'm like, whoa.
Mm.
So he'd kind of dipped his toes into it, but he also looked into it. He did a bit more research, but he wasn't afraid to go for it. He wasn't afraid of the risk, you know. But
Yeah.
the way
Yeah.
he managed the risk was obviously dipping his toes in, fielding it. Did he get enough sales? Yes, I can. I'll get enough sales to
Mm.
like create my runway. And a runway, guys, is how much money do you have to live forward? How many days can you live forward before you need to start earning again? And so
Yeah.
he built up a runway. And so, like I said, he's into year three now. I've advised him on different things. He's since gone on to sell on Amazon, so a third channel that's been really
Mhm.
successful. And then recently, like we're talking, so about 4 months ago, he opened up allowing credit cards rather than just PayPal on his website. And I think
Mhm.
in the first day we opened it up, he did £7,000 sales just because it was so much easier for people to just buy by putting the credit cards straight
Wow.
into his website. So uh, if that doesn't answer your question, I don't know what was
Yeah.
or will.
Yeah. Yeah. So basically, yes, it is a viable
Yes,
business
yes, it,
model.
it is.
I mean, you think about it, it's one of the biggest marketplaces on the planet. Well, it's not even on the
Guaranteeing
planet, but
customers.
exactly, you've got a constant flow of people coming to that platform with one intention. People go to Amazon and eBay with one intention. So you think about, I don't know, you think about a shopping mall. Some people go to the shopping mall with no money in their pocket. They go there to show off their nice clothes and to walk around. They've got no
Yeah,
intention of buying.
yeah,
People go to Amazon and eBay with one intention, and that's to spend money.
correct.
So if you can have a platform on there that can provide a range of products,
Hmm.
you're putting yourself in front of a constant flow of credit cards, a constant flow of people
Hmm.
wanting to spend. Um, I heard something not too long ago, and I had a quick look into it, which was the new program by Amazon, FBA, Fulfilled by Amazon,
Yeah, yeah.
which looked like a really exciting development.
Hmm.
And basically, what it was you don't even need to hold the stock. Amazon have set up a program where you can buy stock, and this is stock of anything. You could buy, a bulk load of shower gels that you got, a penny a bottle.
Hmm.
You can ship that to an Amazon warehouse. You can set up your sales page, etc. And every time someone clicks buy, Amazon will fulfill it for you. They will handle all the shipping,
Yeah,
they will handle the returns, they will handle the inventory, and you just get a cha-ching on your PayPal account.
correct.
Now, I've heard of people who um, they basically go to like their local Asda or their local shopping supermarket where they know there's a sale on, and they know that there's a certain product that is on sale, and it's the lowest price they can get it. They will buy that product, in bulk. Say, I don't know, let's say toothpaste, for example. There's some a specialist toothpaste on sale, really cheap. They'll take that from Asda, ship it to Amazon, and put it on Amazon for 80% markup,
Yeah.
and sell it on Amazon and make a ridiculous profit. They're holding no stock. Amazon will hold all the stock for you, and to me that's a quick startup opportunity.
Yeah, there
Again,
are. And
you could do that at work. You could still be
yeah,
in a full-time job and do that.
yeah.
Go on, sorry, Leon.
I know somebody they did something similar where they were importing. I think it was like cleaning products or something for just general household cleaning products. But in
Mm,
a particular country where they were coming from, I think it was Japan or something, or Korea or somewhere. The products
yeah,
had expired, but for selling those products here in the UK, there was no expiry on these particular types of product. And so
yeah,
all they did was have them shipped over at a lower cost because they were end of line products in another
mm,
country. The stickers were changed on the bottles, and then they were sold at a retail value which was a lot higher. You're talking 800% markup and just going off the shelf.
yeah,
So there's always opportunities. You've got to broaden your horizons and not stay tunnel visioned to the
mm,
opportunities,
yeah, yeah,
especially if you're selling product.
yeah, yeah, definitely. So I mean, again, it's something that you can just run with. These are opportunities that are there for everyone. You don't need to be a genius. You don't need to have a genius mind to recognize a bargain, grab
Yeah,
that bargain, mark it up, and sell it on Amazon. So ultimately, the answer to that question is yes. It is a viable
yeah,
opportunity. It is a viable business model, and what that could do is um, extend your runway, as Leon mentioned. We've got a specific runway till we hit sort of hit break points.
yeah.
No more money in the bank. The mortgage is coming out. The bills are going out.
Mm,
That's sort of your runway.
that's
Now,
it.
a business like that could run on the side, and even if it only takes care of one bill, that might pay your gas bill for the month.
Correct.
It's a bit of income that it's offsetting the pressure off yourself.
Mm,
So again, that'll just extend your runway. It will get you into the whole process of sales and pricing and marketing, etc. It will get you online and get you used to sort of trading online, whilst you could still be building your core business, as it were,
mhm,
on the side, if
yeah,
that's a route you wanted to take to get into business. So the opportunities are there, guys.
yeah,
Um, is there anything else we want to touch on? I'm just conscious of the time. It's
yeah.
it's it's
You
three
can
minutes to
give me a
nine.
quick fire question. It's up to you.
What, you're going to give me a quick fire
No,
question?
no, you can give me one.
Okay. Okay, I'm on the spot now. Okay, what I will ask, quick fire question. Last three business books you read?
It's a good question. I can tell you which three books I bought recently.
Okay, go for it.
I bought The One Thing by Gary Keller.
Okay.
That was recommended to me by a fellow podcaster, Chris Marr.
hmm
Um,
Yeah. Sorry,
you,
Chris will be on the show next week, actually.
oh, really?
So
Okay.
look out for that. Yeah, yeah, he's going to be right here next week. So
Okay.
check that out.
Yeah, so I'll have to tune in for that one. Sorry for my voice, guys. As I said, I'm recovering from man flu with the throat. Um, I bought another book called Seven
Yeah.
Strategies for Wealth and Happiness by Jim Rohn. And the reason why I'm buying this, and I'm going to call him out, I gave it to my brother some years ago and he's not giving it me back, so I've had to go out and buy it again. Michael.
Yeah, you call him out. Yeah, that's terrible. That's
I know.
terrible.
I gave it
And
him
the
to
third
help
one,
him. And the third one is Your
he,
Hidden Riches for Unleashing the Power of Ritual to Create a Life of Meaning and Purpose. So
okay.
it's not specifically business, it's more about I want me to grow.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, before we go, tell us about this tough guy challenge. I may have got it
Oh
wrong.
yeah,
What,
okay,
what's
yeah, not tough guy.
what's this? What's this tough guy
Yeah,
challenge?
okay. I've
Iron
entered.
Man
Yeah,
running in the mud
no,
and
no, no.
commando.
All right, we've entered into Tough Mudder. It's an event that takes
Okay,
place.
wait. When you say we, who's we? Sorry.
So me and my designer Jack, and I think we've got three of his friends roped in. Our team's called the Young Cows. So if you want to enter, we're doing it at the Midlands event on the 30th of May on a Saturday. We're starting at 11 a.m. so we can drive down on the morning.
Okay.
A
What is it?
Tough Mudder is a 10 to 12 mile assault course, and it
10 to
normally
12 miles.
yeah, assault course. So it's you get electrocuted, you have to swim through mud, you have to crawl through mud. There's so many things, but it's a team event. So that's the Young Cow team building event of the year.
Yeah, I'm glad I'm not in that team. Yeah, thanks, boss.
You gotta stretch yourself. I'm 35 on Sunday, so I'm gonna do something good this year.
Okay, okay. Happy birthday.
Yeah, cheers, thank you.
Yeah. So, listen, thank you very much, Leon.
You're
Thanks for giving
welcome.
up your time. I really appreciate it. It's been extremely valuable. Um, Again, if you want to check out Leon, you can find him at, where can we find you, Leon?
So it's at Leon Street with an E on the end at Twitter. You can find my business website, which is youngcow.co.uk, or the podcast, which is SB, so Sierra Bravo Elevation.com.
There you go. Definitely recommend it. I've listened to the first few episodes, really high quality. Um, I've got to mention my podcast as well.
Yeah,
Obviously,
go
I've got the 3VS podcast. I was celebrating today because I've finally been ranked
Boom.
in the new and noteworthy, top 20 new and noteworthy. So again, I mean, this goes back to what we were talking about earlier about celebrating small successes.
Hmm.
I started the morning with on a bit of a downer, and a bit of I was chasing a client for payment, and payment's going to be late, and I was just like, oh, we've got payroll tomorrow, etc. So I was on a bit of a downer, and then I logged into iTunes and seeing that I've been ranked in the top 20 for all three categories: business,
Congratulations, Tony.
technology, and education. So things balance out. It's not monetary, but in terms of a goal I was aiming for, that was a goal that was on my goals list. So we've got to celebrate these successes.
Definitely.
Yeah. So, guys, thank you very much. I really appreciate you spending your evening with us. Go away and take some action. Like I said, we can listen to all this type of stuff. We can read all the books. We can have all the systems. It's all about taking action. So, have a great week. We will see you again next week on 3V TV. And let's give Leon a round of applause for giving us his time. Thank you very much,
Thank you,
and
Tony.
we'll see you next week. All the best. Take care.